When people step up from a point and shoot to a digital SLR, they expect to get better photos. One of the problems with a point and shoot is you tend to use direct flash on your indoor photos. But a lot of people are using direct flash even with their digital SLR. There's a couple of things that they can do to get better photos, better portraits. Now when people get their digital SLR and use the pop-up flash, it's very similar to flash that's on the point and shoots. Oh yeah, the sensor in the camera is bigger, so you're getting better quality, and the lens is sharper, so you'll get more sharpness, but the lighting isn't really that much different than a point and shoot. You've got that pop-up flash going directly at your subject. There's a few inherent problems with this. One of the first things is you tend to get a harsh shadow underneath the chin line in your photograph. Another thing is you tend to get a reflection maybe on the forehead, or if they're wearing glasses, in the glasses, because the light is bouncing right back into the lens. The subject tends to have that deer in the headlight look that we're trying to avoid. Very common with a point and shoot, but with an SLR, you're expecting to get better photographs and to get away from some of these problems. Another problem with the pop-up flash is that you tend to get red eye in your subject's eyes. Now, although it's convenient to use the pop-up flash, a couple of small accessories will make your portraits much better. Now, the first of these accessories for your Sony camera is the F20 AM flash. It's a small flash that connects right on the hot shoe of your camera. When you've got it in the flat mode, the flash is off, and when you pop it up, the flash turns on. Now there's two other settings on the flash. You can either go direct, where the light is coming straight from the flash into your subject, or the mode that I would suggest is the bounce mode. Now you've got to have a white ceiling and it can't be a cathedral distance away. But if you're working in a house and it has a white ceiling, I would go with the bounce mode. This gives you better light as you're bouncing the light from the flash into the white ceiling, and then it filters down onto your subject. Now besides the F20 AM flash for your Sony SLR, the next accessory that I would consider is an actual portrait lens. This is a prime lens, which means it doesn't zoom. A prime lens designed just for portraits. With your 18 to 55 kit lens that comes with the camera, you tend to have a lens that works between f3.4 and 5.6. At 5.6, you always have a certain amount of depth of field. That's the area ahead of and behind your subject. Now, having the whole world in focus is fantastic for landscape work, but when you're doing portraits, a lot of people prefer it when the subject is sharp, but the background and the foreground are a little bit out of focus, a little bit softer. That way you tend to look more at the subject, the person, than the distractions of the background. They're out of focus and they're not as distracting. So the 1.8 lens that Sony makes, they call it the DT50, is a prime lens designed for portraits. Now when you use this lens, you're going to want to use it wide open at f1.8. That'll give your subject nice sharpness, but your background will be a little bit softer and a little bit less distracting. These two accessories, the F20 AM flash and the DT50 prime lens, are easy to use,